So, Dani's sailing experience. Which one do you want to talk? Talking about favourite actions, or most memorable actions for you. There was HV Blind Date.
All of them.
All of the HV Blind Dates.
Yeah.
And
Chariots.
And Chariots. Which one do you want to go with first?
Well, let's talk about Chariots because there's only one of them.
Yeah.
So this was the action.
One of the actions, yeah.
This was the action when Chariots in Shoreditch was closing, and I don't actually remember when it was. Maybe February.
April 2016.
Yeah. So it was just closing down, and we went to just do a ritual outside in the car park of Chariots in Shoreditch. And I wasn't really involved in the organising. Well, I wasn't involved at all in the organising of it. I just went along, and it was organised by Radical Fairies and ACTA. And I don't think I'd really. I mean, I know I'd met a couple. I met like Mix and people like that vaguely. I hadn't actually met any of the fairies before, like in a fairy capacity. So I hadn't been to a ritual or anything like that before. And I didn't really know what was going to happen. And I'd obviously never been to Chariots before either, so it didn't really have any particular resonance for me on paper. But yeah, I went along, and Shakti was doing the sort of the incanting, and we did some chanting and some drumming. The drumming is a thing. I'll come back to drumming, but I think that the standout thing, the gimmicky thing that people remember is the jizz potion, right?
What was that?
Well, that was a mixture of I don't know whose jizz, but a few people.
My jizz was in there.
It was you, Anna, and I think Ashley, possibly.
Yeah, Ashley bought his jizz. Yeah.
A few people's jizz and glitter, but it was quite a lot of it. I remember because I remember I had it in a bowl at one point, just sort of doing this with
Some
it.
people brought it. I brought mine in a bag, and then I think Ashley brought it in his bag, or maybe some people were wanking each other off around the corner.
Well, there was quite a lot of it either way, and I remember scattering it at one point, thinking there's quite a lot of this. I don't know if anyone watered it down or anything, but anyway, there was that. So that was quite an interesting thing. But yeah, after we formed a circle, we held a circle, we summoned ancestors. We did a lot of we did a brief sort of ancestral. It was an ancestral ritual, really, just to bless the earth, and so that whatever happened on that patch of earth, that queer ancestry would always be present in the earth with the jizz potion as well. That's sort of an offering. And then we did some drumming, and that was really important for me as well because I'd always very much enjoyed drumming. Always from when I was literally 2, I went to a percussion group, and I have memories of that, very powerful for me. And I'd never drummed when I drummed that night with the fairies for the first time, it felt really innate in a way that drumming hadn't before, because I don't know, there was just something about that community that very much called to me, and I've been part of the fairies ever since. And there was the action itself was really wonderful, it went really, really well. I think everybody really enjoyed it, but there was fallout. Should we talk about this as well?
Definitely, yeah. Good, bad,
so there
ugly,
was some controversy afterwards because it was your pal JS.
He's not really my pal.
Oh,
but
whoever he is, JS.
Yeah, I must have met him about twice.
Okay, well, it was that guy.
Contact, yeah.
Wrote that article for Vice.
Vice, yeah.
The headline was awful, and I had no particular knowledge of the fairies then, but I was like, I'm pretty sure that there were no curses going on. So the headline was about I saw queer shamans curse property developers, and that was, the fairies were really upset about that article because the idea, because in if you believe it, which some fairies do and some don't, then the idea of cursing or putting a curse, using shamanism is really powerful, and that wasn't what happened at all, and it was very insensitive, and the conflation of fairy culture and sort of Romany culture as well, really insensitive. And I remember, for some reason, I don't know why, you put me in that original group chat addressing the fallout from this situation.
Back in the day?
Yeah.
Ah.
In April 2015, there was a small group chat of Tom Kukulis and me and you and JS who wrote the article, and I was like, I don't really know why I'm in this chat, but But there I was, and I was just sort of trying to be like, maybe this person meant this. I was just trying to sort of mediate whatever, because I didn't really know what was going on. But that was probably one of the first instances from when I've been actively involved in like the queer community, full stop, actually, when the power of language and perception and being sensitive to that was really made very, very clear. Because before that I hadn't really ever had to think about, I mean, it hadn't really come up yet, and even though I was familiar with concepts about like pronouns and different culture, I mean, I was familiar with all these different things, but it just hadn't really been brought to the fore yet. And I don't know, it just felt very powerful. Anyway, so that's just a side note on that. But yeah, I've been part of the fairy community ever since, although somewhat estranged this year. But I did go back to a drum circle last weekend, and it was amazing.
Yes.
And I felt really glad to have gone.
Can you tell me a bit more about fairy?
Yeah, so
in relation, I mean, obviously in the context of Stonewall, and what you think of relevance.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, next year is actually a big anniversary for the fairies as well, because it's their 40th anniversary next year.
Yeah.
So 40 years ago next year, Radical Fairies were founded by Harry Hay, who was formerly of the Mattachine Society, which I didn't realise. So Harry Hay had already been one of the founding fathers of the, I never know how you say Mattachine, is that how you say it?
I think so, yeah.
Whatever. He'd co-founded that, and the Mattachines were, of course, quite